Hi all, it's me Aki from Gallery, and I will be doing a short podcast. It's been quite a while since I did one of these, and I'm in the library, so I don't know how well this audio will catch. And I have decided to put the webcam picture in picture so that you can see what I'm doing at the same time instead of just seeing my, mug. I shaved my head when I was in America, like you probably saw, and I'm regrowing my hair, so this will take some time. I'm trying to get back to the long hair. Haven't been making these in a while since I have been updating Gallery, and I've been making a list of flights or a YouTube list where I link the videos I have watched. So I will be continuing that and doing these quite rarely. I don't recall off the top of my head what the number for this video is because I haven't in a fairly long time been doing these or numbering these, and a lot of the videos on my YouTube channel are just called videos, so I need to rename a lot of them. I have like 25 Masters games that I need to rename and things like that. If I had the time, I would also put them all on a single playlist, and like single playlist for Masters and single for podcasts and single for movies and so on, but the interface is so demanding, it's so that I don't feel like doing it. The interface is bad. There should be better options like find all things that are from Masters, rename them all and put a number behind them that matches what you were doing with the previous set and things like that. So, piece of news. There we go. Piece of news. I was attacked during the night by the Demon Prince of Media. No physical fighting was involved. One of the other patrons at the homeless shelter had a laptop on during the night and had fallen asleep, and the laptop was playing a audio conversation. And I noticed quite quickly that the conversation took on a tone of insults towards me. This sometimes happens in spirit, and I occasionally get things like people randomly walking by and saying insulting things, and I have taken to not minding these things. I don't really care. It happens in life. Sometimes you don't get along with people and they have the right to verbally abuse you. I have taken this attitude in the Masters game that I play, that verbal abuse is not grounds for police action. Now, this person tried to do this. Nybbas person, the Demon Prince of Media, tried to do things like convince me that the combo of the young girl and the mother, who I am in good terms with, actually hates me and wants to harm me and various other similar things, which I know to be lies, because had they actually wanted to hurt me, they would hurt me. They wouldn't go through a demon prince and convince the demon prince to be angry at me. They would just hurt me. And they said very disparaging things about me believing I have an internet spaceship, and tried to get me to believe that they're castrating me and so on, and it was very interesting. I woke up in the middle of the night to somebody having the audio on their laptop, and that's when I had this conversation. It lasted for perhaps 15 minutes, and the audio of the room switched to be about the situation. So when I, for example, struck back, I asked that the room echoes or knocks properly when I do an appropriate attack and doesn't when I do an inappropriate attack, and And whenever I did like an attack towards Nybbas, whom I at that time thought it was from Saminga, but it's actually from Nybbas. Saminga is the demon prince of death, who was not the person attacking me, it was the demon prince of media. And I got the knocks of the room, the background spiritual audio to be completely in tune with me. And the Triglavians, whom you know from Eve, were completely on my side. There was no doubt in their mind that I must be protected and that they must attack these demons. And the young boys, whom are in general one of my strongest enemies, were completely on my side. They were absolutely convinced that this thing must be attacked. And overall the situation went well. Both sides probably claimed victory and went home, but this attack comes as no surprise to me because it comes directly after I did the 1 billion offer. I offered 1 billion of my currency units, which are Euro Finnish from Masters, for somebody to properly punish or get rid of this particular person who seems to have attacked children and women and old people and basically instigated the Ukrainian war. I paid from my personal account that much just to punish this particular individual because I had very good reason to believe that he was behind the Ukrainian war, and I put a desire on it that if I am wrong, nothing should happen, but if something happens in the nearby region to me in the very near future, I will assume that I was correct about this. And the very next day, 3 Russian 19, 17 and 18-year-olds killed their father, who had been abusing them for around 10 years. Everything from rape to basically beating them up like sports baskets. And the person, had he gone to court, would have gotten a few months for it. So the Russian intelligence service decided that this is a good time, that this is an opportunity for them to convince the world community that they are not behind the Ukrainian war. Now, from my point of view, everything is fine. It was an act of self-defense, and that is about the size of it. But I said during that time when I ordered it that I have no doubt or no fear of being sent into what you would consider hell for this action, because sometimes these actions have to be undertaken. When I was not a political power and I was just observing political powers, I was very much against things like assassinations and so on. But the more I actually do this thing and live my life in political power, the more I understand that these things sometimes happen in democracies and governments in general, and the more I dislike being in power. The more these things happen and the more I have to do them, the more convinced I am that we have to go to direct democracy and completely forsake this representative democracy, because it is not appropriate for a person to have this level of power. It is corrupting. It is not appropriate. So in this particular case, I would say that even the best possible representative is not good enough to have as a representative, and they need to be taken into a position where we will be convincing them that direct democracy is the only way to go forward. There may be a level of representation still existing, but the lesser the better. The direct democracy of the Swiss and the Icelandic models, for example, is the way to go. They reduce violence in a way that is healthy. So in short, a demon prince attacked me last night. I had a fight lasting for perhaps 15 minutes. Both sides probably claimed victory and went home. And I received no physical damage, and when I walked around town the following morning, I had a conversation in spirit with the people whom the demon prince pretended to be, and they were all of the opinion that if they actually wanted to attack me, that's not the way they would do it, and that they would have a physical way of showing me that I have acted inappropriately instead of going boogie 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 boogie. So, in short, interesting. Like I said yesterday in my thread, I feel like the war in the world is escalating between the four main powers. So I was feeling anxious and of the opinion that somebody could be getting into a war fairly soon. So that fear and confusion was abused by the demon for the attack purpose. That's about the size of it. Otherwise, I'm doing fairly good. I do occasionally still have scuffles and problems and so on, but in general I'm doing fairly good. I've been promised an apartment by the Social Security guys in a month, which I don't really believe, but good for them. And I need to contact the doctor's office as quickly as is humanely possible to make sure that I get paid for the sick leave, that I don't actually miss my sick leave payment. I need to contact them as soon as is humanely possible. I meant to do it this morning, but I forgot and I don't have a phone, so I can't call them. So in this particular case, tomorrow morning I need to remember, but in this case it seems like the attack from the Demon Prince of Media got me to be a little frazzled and I missed an opportunity. So like I said, both sides probably claimed victory and went home. I am trying to renegotiate a debt with a friend, but it seems likely not to work. This seems like a point of some contention between us, so... Here, by the way, is the gallery forum, which I have mentioned. This is a Vexer, it's the size of the ship that I fly. This, however, isn't mine. Mine is painted and has a completely different setup and actually looks a bit different. This is the average background, and the forum looks like this. This is a very simple forum. There's a shout box down here where you can post something. I will be doing a recording for podcast and showing the people what this place looks like. See, that's a shout box. It'll keep your messages up here for a while and then they eventually vanish. These are the type of forums we have. We have junk, then we have 18 plus junk, then we have sexuality, which is supposed to be not 18 plus, but it's supposed to be very user friendly. No smut, no like outwardly expressions of sexuality through pictures or media, no smut as they say. Then spirituality, then politics, then general discussion. For a forum of 2 or 3 people, we have around 5,000 posts, so it's turning into a diary for the both of us, and Norse map evidently crashed again. There we go, it's up again. And the way I'm doing this is doing flights, like daily flights, as you can see. Every day I make a thread on the forums, and for example, I do this thing where I have a short text explanation of what happened to me before this post, or what is like the events of the day. And then I post a music, a link to the threat map or Norse map I currently use, and what I'm following in terms of like activity on the internet. This starts with the Finnish Defense Forces Sports School. The next one is the police chasing the police TV, where they were trying to apprehend a couple of people and so on. Then the next one is the Special Jaeger Battalion airdrop. Then the next one is me describing why my unit has switched from 3 platoons to 1 battalion, because 1 battalion is easier to manage. Then I'm checking with the American police to see what they think. Then because I felt a little apprehensive of the American police, I switched over to infographics, crazy things you won't believe actually happened in court, which was funny. And then I talked with Gemini for a while. Then I switched over to the Finnish comedy shows discussion of this small party thing called Ihmisten puolue, where it's like a small Finnish party where they do things, and it's not a real party, but it's a very funny TV show. And then after that I switched into supernatural, because now I have placed my things so that they're behind the demon trying to torture my feminine side, and then I kill the demon. Then I watch a strategy game where the Finnish champion is challenging the world champions and so on, so that I get an idea of how well my nation actually did, so that it's not just me thinking that I did well. If we lose the game, then I'm doing badly. If we win the game, then I'm doing well. And so on. I continue and keep posting news articles and musics and so on. I do a flight. It's called a flight when you do this thing where you post a video as you go around the internet. Sometimes I talk for a long period of time, and sometimes I only post videos for a long period of time. All in all, that is a flight. Sometimes we argue with my friends when I'm doing a flight because I'm doing things that they don't completely agree with, and sometimes we don't argue. It's not a constant either way. So all in all, it's doing relatively well. So that's basically this day's news article. I was attacked by Nybbas, the demon prince of media. We fought for around 15 minutes. This attack probably came about because I basically assassinated a demon that was trying to possess a girl. And in physical parlance, I kicked the guy who started the Ukrainian war in the nuts. And that's basically why I got attacked by this particular demon. And as you can see on the map over there, the Russians are responding, and in the language that I understand, because I have watched this threat map thing for years now, so I have developed an understanding of the language. The Russians are saying that they don't care that I kicked the guy in the nuts because they don't believe that they are the guy, nor does Ukraine. They both believe that somebody else is trying to make them to fight one another, and they are in fact thankful for me to at least try to sort out who is the bad guy here. Both sides are of the opinion that somebody is trying to make a mess of their relations. So the situation isn't as simple as people would think, and the European Union's relations with the United States isn't as good as we'd like to think. But overall, everybody's talking. Nobody's talking in terms of using weapons on the Norse map actively. People are discussing things. The politicians are having good moments, but the reality is that if we don't switch over from fossil dependency, we will see a third world war. And that's because the energy resources will run out and the military will take the position of the military, and that is what will happen. So even if everybody is being friendly and talking with one another, you have to remember to defend yourself, because they, despite being friendly with one another, may not be the type of situation you want to involve yourself in. So anyway, that's the short description of what happened basically today. I won't be doing a long podcast today because I don't feel like leaving this thing on, though I could, but that depends on how I feel, because I'm thinking of posting this thing on gallery and mentioning it, but it could be better to do a long video and posting that, so we'll see. Let's continue this for at least a while. One moment, this will be loud.
Arataka Research Consortium has confirmed the existence of a new nanite-based cybernetics technology today, after its discovery in an abandoned research laboratory in an as-yet undisclosed location. The neural lace, codenamed Black Glass, is a significant theoretical advancement on earlier sleeper-derived implants, such as those using clone soldiers. Whereas clone soldier implants were wholly based on reverse engineering of sleeper technology, this system demonstrates an adaptation of the technology and its first integration with Jovian-designed capsuleer implants.
The Black Glass system strengthens capsuleer's ability to penetrate electronic systems. This is achieved by directly modifying logic functions of the brain with a package of Jovian and other genetic data using a nanite-based delivery system. The drawbacks of this technology have not yet been fully analysed. We go now to Dr. Misia Starsurge of Hydra Reloaded for more.
The Black Glass implant directly improves one's ability to suppress electronic defenses. We currently theorize that this relies on hooks, with existing skillbook-derived hacking engrams residing in the temporal lobe, possibly bypassing or suppressing certain functions of working memory formation in bridging this region directly with the logical functions of the prefrontal cortex. We have seen indications of minor cortical swelling and fever as the neural lace is established in medical testing clones, but this is as expected. Capsuleer trials are pending further analysis, but we expect to begin those in coming days.
In response to an urgent inquiry from the Kai-based League for Baseliner Rights, ARC scientists confirmed that baseliner trials are not currently likely, due to the need for pre-existing implants and neural burn pathways to support the technology.
Investigation teams are still scouring the laboratory, attempting to identify the organisation that may have been employing Sisters of Eve Project Discovery data before its public release. Considerable work is also being done to uncover more about this new repurposing of sleeper technology, given that its integration with conventional implant technology represents a significant advancement of the art. This is Elinari Roden
and Cerulean Voth
reporting from Iseris for the Discourse.
Interesting. So they are saying the 8th density timeless space thing is able to be, with proper work used by the frontal lobe, to suppress electronic defenses, which to me makes perfect sense. Let's see what else. The problem with recording the audio at the same time while doing this from the computer is that they may silence the entire audio because I am using things that are not patented by me, which is one of the reasons why I hate patents. I completely and absolutely loathe the patent system. Nah. listen to the opinion of NATO now. Artillery exercise seems good. This is going to be intense because I haven't been completely honorable in my interactions as of late. There have been things that I consider inappropriate about my interactions as of late, so let's view what the Supreme Court of the NATO countries thinks. They seem to be cautiously on my side, or strongly on my side, but cautious in their interactions.
Sur le... Voilà, allez, t'es pas entendu. Allez, allez, allez.
Clearly said I know in Finnish.
Cherchez! Barrett! Go, let's go! Fucking hell, I'm coming up, man. You didn't do anything. Cherchez! Barrett! Take it off, push up, bro!
I do still sense the occasional tinge of somebody attacking me. So I believe I should do this now. See, I'm pressing a page down and it jumps left and right. touchpad is frozen again. There we go. They seem to be cautiously on my side. For the sake of this particular discussion, Russia is my side. They do not seem to be attacking. That is because I consider most of my power to come from either spirits or perhaps the judge is a word to use. But I am considering myself too far removed from European defenses and similar, so I do need to move towards NATO, for example. So I'm watching it as a right side versus left side and a discussion of whether to move forward or backward or left or right or stay. Judge is responding with a slightly forward while the pleasure system is responding with a heavily forward. Correct, but more up.
2302.8. Check. 384.0. Check. Stand by. Fire. Fire. Stand by.
Vampire! Clearly said vampire and everybody laughed.
Flexion 3302. Flexion 3. Come on, Helen. Flexion 3302.5. Check. What 383.2. Flexion 3303.7. Check. What 383. Fire! Fire!
They're like on the demon.
More clear.
Left side is using large piece from a distance almost equally to the right instead of forward. They're about ready to pause. The left side is ready to pause its development towards a better system. They got no response from the right side immediately when they did this. Then they launched a few more and the right side continued to be quiet, so it seems like the left side or the side of pleasure and personal pleasure at this time is what the NATO seems to support instead of going more towards justice and courts. So they seem to support, in quotes, Finland against, in quotes, Russia. This is how I do my communication. This requires a certain bit of work, but as you can see, Finland is communicating with Portugal on the map, and Portugal is my main European stronghold because it is the most furthest distance away from Russia with the most liberal laws. It is like my home in the European community. You basically have to go through everybody else before you get to Portugal. And this is why they said the vampire thing. Vampire is the code word in the US and NATO slang for somebody from the inside of your organization attacking you. In this particular case, because it's a Hollywood production, if the Hollywood makes one where they want to seriously attack the US military will respond by saying vampire. I have some experience in decoding these transmissions, but I would like to be a lot better.
There is a separate consciousness inside of you. We like to call it the ego.
Wanted to check if the little thing is still at the top left corner of the video. Morning, man. That's what happened to me, not what is happening to you.
And it does things faster than you do.
So now you've got to drum up another excuse to be around the love of your life. Could hate another patient.
Yeah, don't like to repeat myself. People will say I'm formulaic.
Well, that rules out letting the rat go so you can catch him again.
I can't do that. Steve needs 2 weeks antibiotics and a smoke-free environment. Cigarettes aggravated his infection.
The rat is actually sick? That thing could infect the entire house.
Steve's infection is not contagious to humans. Idiot. How do I miss mycoplasmosis? Is that the kid's father?
Yeah. Remember the Black Death? It started with rats.
Well, what's he doing in the hallways? He kept getting his biopsy already.
He just won't go in the room. Who knows what else he has? Parasites? Bacterial infection?
The kid didn't have parasites.
Not the kid, the rat.
Is he still sweating?
Rats only sweat through their tails.
Not the rat, the dad. Where are they from?
Montana. What's going on?
You were right. It's a parasite. Cancel the biopsy. It'll kill him. Hey, Daddy, come with me.
Yeah, I'm not going in there.
Your son asked to talk to you.
Why is he here?
He wanted to talk to you. So you two used to hunt together. Foxes. Did you kill foxes?
It's Montana.
Those masses in your chest are not tumors. Parasitic cysts from a bug called echinococosis. Touch a dead fox, they jump aboard, they can hunker down for decades. Growing, spawning, shopping, putting on plays.
I've been tested for parasites.
Okay, it's cancer. You happy? The cysts isolate the parasites, keeping them from showing up in stool samples, even in blood tests, cardiac tests.
You don't need me for this.
But you've got the same things in your liver.
I have cirrhosis.
Liver cysts have identical symptoms, with one addition, fever. A liver cyst we can test for. Your diagnosis could confirm Calvin's. So, option A, draw some blood.
No, look, you're not touching me.
So this is why I want you here. I want you to tell your son that you won't take a simple, painless blood test to save his life.
Never expressed a shred of regret for what happened to your mother.
Jeez,
If you'd have worn a damn rubber, you'd have been fine. You could have saved her life. You wouldn't be lying here.
Yeah, I get it. You're really mad at him for killing himself and destroying everything you love. I don't have time for this. Are you going to apologize?
I'm living my life the way I want.
Are you going to give me some blood?
Look, if he doesn't give a damn, then neither do I.
Okay, option B. Why did your wife kill herself? Did she hate you?
She was a diabetic.
You know, you don't know a thing about my Susan.
Either Susan wanted to die, or she was both fat and stupid. Used a Twinkie instead of a gun. Girls with big appetites, well, they just can't get enough of any.
Shut up.
Probably nibble on every devil dog in the county.
Shut up!
In case I'm not making myself clear, I don't mean the delicious snack.
Son of a bitch! Yeah? Come on!
Thank you. Means I can do this. We're gonna need some Effie in here, Stat.
Are you out of your mind?
You said you didn't care. Notice how you can't breathe? Now, either that's the cane, or I just ruptured one of those liver cysts we were chatting about. You've gone into anaphylactic shock, exactly the same way your son did when he accidentally tripped against my friend's car. And I'm just so excited to find out which. Scheduled surgery.
Here.
Getting some of the stress away. Nice.
restore humanity. The sanity is leaving for the vanity. I plan to be close with my family, substantially avoiding a calamity. Financially stable, it's a fantasy, it's blasphemy. I holler out laughs and crying out in agony. I just wanna help people, yeah, cause we all just equal, and we all just fearful, those who deceitful, yeah. But if we all just work hard, yeah, and we let down our guards, yeah, we can open up our hearts and figure out how to heal our scars. Yeah, the deep thoughts in my bed got me feeling like a weak spot in my head, and I ask myself to please stop. Take a breath, need to get all of these deep thoughts out my head, yeah. I just wanna be known, I just wanna be home. Feel like I'm all alone and I need to do it on my own. I just wanna be known, I just wanna be home. Feel like I'm all alone and I need to do it on my own, yeah.
Hero Coalition has withdrawn to Iridia, bringing an end to the extensive standoff against Pandemic Legion's invasion of Catch. During the evacuation, the outgunned Hero Coalition was forced to give up the system of HED TAC GP without a fight. A strategic choke point, the system is the primary exit out of the region. And Hero Coalition has taken heavy losses moving their assets through it. Pandemic Legion's plans for the Catch region are still unknown. Most of Hero Coalition's forces have already regrouped in Iridia and are expected to reorganize and engage in the hostilities brewing in Delve and Fountain. For the past few weeks, N3 and CFC have been skirmishing between the two regions, starting with N3 attacks on the border systems in Fountain. CFC has since retaliated with what appears to be a full-scale invasion of Delve. According to CFC, Pandemic Legion has been hired to join their side, pushing N3 into a multi-front war. We will be keeping you up to date as the situation develops. This is Lena Amber, reporting for The Scope.
I think this is about it for this particular thing. I think we got a good discussion going. So now all can see the purpose of the Triglavians. Interesting.
Let me tell you something.
poliisikomppaniamme on yhteistoiminnassa poliisin kanssa valvonut Helsingin Länsi-satamassa olevaa hylättyä varastorakennusta. Poliisi epäilee, että eilinen terroristi-isku Helsingin Itäkeskuksessa valmisteltiin täällä. Hetki sitten kohteelle ajoi 2 ajoneuvoa, toinen poliisin etsintäkuuluttama ja toinen tuntematon vuokra-auto. Oman tiedustelumme mukaan ajoneuvossa oli 2 henkilöä, jotka ovat etsintäkuulutettuja vihollisen erikoisjoukkosotilaita luvatta maassa. Delta 50 sai välittömästi käskyn eristää kohteen sekä estää ainoan pääsy kohteelta pois. Alfa 1. Toteuta välittömästi harjoittelemasi isku rakennukselle. Ota kiinni kaikki henkilöt rakennuksesta. Teillä on oikeus sotilaalliseen voimankäyttöön. Sain.
Kaikki vapaat yksiköt välittömästi Kampin metroasemalle.
Alfa 10 tulossa Hakaniemestä.
Ja 20 tulee.
Alfa 30 tulee. Nyt mennään! Mennään! Kypärät maahan!
Käteosta 20 Kampista minuutin päästä.
Sieltä lääkinäreppu, Pyykäinen, ota murtoväynnysarja, tarkastakaa varustus.
Alfa 10 paikalla.
Metro on pysäytetty nyt tunneliin ja lähtee liikkeelle mun käskystä. Otatte kiinni kaikki henkilöt viimeisestä vaunusta. Ette päästä ketään pois laiturialueelta. Kysyttävää. Toimikaa.
Alfa 10 mukaan! Alfa 3 mukaan!
Metroliikenne pysäytetty teknisen vian vuoksi jatkamumahdollisuuksia.
Valvomo, laita metroliikkeelle.
Tässä radiouutiset. Hyvää iltaa. Poliisi on yhteistyössä puolustusvoimien kanssa estänyt vakavan terroristi-iskun kantakaupungin alueella. Viranomaisten mukaan tapaus liittyy eiliseen iskuun Itäkeskuksessa. Tiesulut kaupungin ulosmenoväylillä on nyt purettu ja myös metroliikenne kulkee normaalisti.
Sierra 1. Tämä selvä. Sierra 1 hoitaa.
week.
Not me. No. I've never stole from Lowe's.
That wasn't Lowe's, it was Sam's Club. Right? Why don't you jump out of the car for me? Okay. Step out of the car. Because I want you out of the car. That's why. Bad idea!
Registered owner and coordinated 12 hours Charlie information available. Alright, that car just took off and you broke me from the vehicle. Bailey on Taunton.
You drive, friend.
Get out of the car! Face down! Face down! Get your hands behind your back! You piece of shit! Behind your back, dude. Watch the blood. Yeah, you're bleeding. Glass. I got it all over. You got a squad coming? Yeah. Check them for guns. You got any weapons on you, dude? Why you running? Another one took off over by Geppetto's. On foot. With him? On foot, yeah. The passenger. All right. Tell the detectives.
So that's all. Pleasure to be with you, and let's hope this one uploads with audio and everything like in place. If it doesn't, like